Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be a review of the Lancome foundation that I was testing out, and it was the Teint Idole Ultra 24 Hour Wear. I'm not entirely sure how to say that. It was this foundation. And I was in the shade 055, which I believe to be the lightest shade. And I got a really good sample from the lady, her name was Sarah, I think, at Boots. And I love the sample pot because it came with a little applicator inside, which is always more useful than a bottle that you have to dab out in the back of your hand. Now I will obviously add me applying the foundation. So I think this is, you know, an okay colour match for me. In this lighting in particular, it doesn't actually look too bad. I haven't built it up particularly much. If I did build it up and try and get more of a full coverage, it's definitely a bit too yellow on my skin. I'm not sure if yellow is the right word, but you can clearly see my skin and the foundation, even if I have to blend it down my neck obviously and everything else, but it's still quite obvious that it's not necessarily the right colour for my skin tone. This wears pretty well. It lasts, a good sort of 6 to 8 hours. It lasts a wee bit longer if I apply a mattifying primer on my T-zone, that's sort of standard, and if I set the foundation with powder, it will obviously last that bit longer. I did enjoy this on my skin. It doesn't feel particularly heavy on my skin. It doesn't clog up my face very much. I didn't have any massive irritations with it. Yeah, it was, I think this is quite a good foundation, to be honest. It's just a shame that I can't really go full coverage with it because it is very obvious that it's not my colour. You can buy this for £28.50 for a full size, which is not too bad at all for a good foundation. And I have oilier skin, well, oily T-zone, as I've mentioned on many an occasion, but it held up really quite well. It did break up more around the creases of my nose. That was much more obvious. And it did seem to, you'll see at the video at some point, I will start pointing at my nose and pointing around. It does seem to make the pores on my nose, and generally where I have slightly larger pores, it sits in those a wee bit more. So if I attempted to build it up, my pores were more obvious. So it didn't necessarily hide those very well. What else? Yeah, so some creasing around my nose. Annoyingly with the creasing, if I tried to dab it back in and blend it back in, it just disappeared from my skin. Even, with dry hands and everything else, I would just dab it like I have done on many an occasion. I don't know which way that's supposed to be. I have done it previously with other foundations and it's been fine, where it just blends back in. This one doesn't really blend back in, it just melts very much off my face. On more than one occasion that's happened, so it's not just that I've got warm hands. I have actually particularly cold hands most of the time, as my other half will attest. Yeah, I would say this is actually more of a light to medium coverage foundation. It lasts pretty well. I would recommend it for us oily girls. I think it is actually not half bad. As I said, it works better with a mattifying primer. If you have big pores around your nose and everything, like I do, you have to be careful how you apply it. I apply it with a buffing brush. I have found that works best, because if I went in with a damp sponge, it would go from being medium coverage to light coverage. That's sort of a given. But you would obviously get a nicer finish with a sponge. So, with a beauty sponge. I don't know, I'm kind of torn with this one. I liked it better than the Elizabeth Arden. It held up better than the Elizabeth Arden did on my face. There wasn't massive amounts of flashback. I've taken the pictures without having set my face or anything to that effect, so you can just see the foundation itself. Not really. It doesn't make my face look more shiny than the Elizabeth Arden did. The Elizabeth Arden, I thought it looked really incredibly shiny just after application. With the flash it looked oily, whereas this one not as much, and it was taken in the same conditions. I don't know, I think this is good foundation, and it would definitely suit some people. I think it wears well and it is okay for oily skin. Even without the matte primer, as long as you set your face, it holds up for, you know, it holds up in a solid fashion for about 6 hours. So no breaking down, no noticeable creasing, I'd say, to that point. After that point, definitely starting to break down without a doubt. So I think that's pretty good, to be honest. I've had other foundations that break down after 4 hours at the very most. So yeah, so two minds about this one. I don't think it's right for my wedding day. I'm starting to run out of options, to be honest, to try and get the right shade of foundation and a foundation that lasts for the entire day. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, fire them down below. I've had somebody mention the Chanel Vita Lumia Aqua. Unfortunately, I can't get a shade light enough in that. And another person mentioned the MAC, oh, what is it? Studio Fix. So I haven't tried that one yet. I haven't even tested out the face and body because I've still been testing out the samples that I have. Anyway, you'll see more reviews next week of the next foundation. The next foundation up is my Estee Lauder. Yeah, that's the next foundation for review. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. And if there's anything else, obviously please let me know down below. Excuse the dramatic face. I felt like doing a dramatic eye look this evening. The notion just took me, I decided to go with it. So that is it. There will obviously be a blog post with links and everything else, and what the website says and what I say, you know, my thoughts, whatever else. I will link that down below. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Please like if you like, please subscribe if you like, and I'll see you in my next video.